Book one is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's helping people free themselves from the limitations that keep them stuck in their negative patterns. No other than Miss Blake Lefkoe. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Blake, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Daniel. It's great to be here. So, I have been trained and certified in a process that helps people eliminate the beliefs that keep them stuck. So, often these beliefs are subconscious and sometimes they're not, right? They're responsible for our patterns, what we do, what we don't do, what we think, what we feel, our behaviors, and all those things are run by our beliefs. Our beliefs determine our lives. So people come to me with patterns like anxiety, procrastination, fear, issues with money, anger, all these different things. And we find the beliefs responsible for the patterns. And then we go through this process, and one by one, we eliminate the beliefs at the root. It's very different than any other modality I've ever experienced in that there's no tips, there's no tricks, you don't have to remember anything, you don't have to reframe anything, there's no integration. You literally just get rid of the belief, and as you do that, the patterns organically start to shift. So I have clients that have completely gotten rid of their anxiety, their fear around certain things. I've had people get sober, stop drinking, leave toxic relationships, write that book they've always wanted to write, stop emotional eating, right? It's anything, and it's just a really profoundly powerful, permanent modality. And the great news is you don't have to keep coming. People come for 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 sessions, and you get rid of the problem that you came for. You stop doing the thing you don't want to be doing. You started doing the thing you want to be doing. Your anxiety goes away, and all of a sudden, you're able to live life the way you want to live it. You're able to say, what do I want my life to look like? And what's standing in the way of me living it? And then you get to go live that life.
Miss Blake, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about the power of authentic living, creating life aligned with your true self. How do you define authentic living in today's world of social media and social pressures?
Authentic living to me is living the life you would have lived before people told you how to live it. People tell you what your life should look like, what you should do, how you should do it. And authentic living is just asking yourself, what do I want my life to look like? What gets me excited? What gets me out of bed in the morning? What am I passionate about? What fires me up? And living your life according to that instead of all these rules that we've been told, you're supposed to live like this way.
What are the most common signs that someone is living out of alignment with their true self?
I think most of us are to some extent. And because of the way that I work with people, it usually comes back to beliefs, right? If you have the belief, I'm not good enough, and what makes me good enough is having people think well of me, or I'm not good enough, and what makes me good enough is succeeding, then you're going to do everything in your power to have people like you and think well of you, or you're going to do everything in your power to succeed, even if you say, gosh, I really want to spend more time with my family, really want to go to my son's baseball game this weekend, and a meeting pops up and you're like, oh God, I have to succeed. I have to succeed. It's not a conscious thing. But we all know that person that wants to, work less and spend more time with their family, and they can't break that cycle. We've all been in that place where we're like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to put myself first, or I'm going to say no, or I'm going to never be in another toxic relationship again. And then we do it. We're stuck in these patterns. And so by eliminating these beliefs, you create space, again, to live life the way you want to live it. And when you eliminate a belief, I use this as an example because a lot of people that have experienced trauma in their lives have the belief I'm not safe, and so their whole life revolves around safety and being safe and what they can do and not do. And when you eliminate that belief, it doesn't mean you're going to go talk to everyone or you're going to put yourself in dangerous situations. Right? When we have a belief, it's like we're stuck in this box, in this belief box, right? It limits us. And when you eliminate it, it's just like we just take the box away and you don't have to do anything different. You can stay right where you are. But now you have the choice. Now you have the options. And when you have the options, you can start living in alignment because you can start asking yourself, what do I really want? And you don't have all these things stopping you. You don't have these limitations keeping you stuck where you are.
What are the most common signs that someone living out of their belief and their dreams and true selves?
I don't know that there's a common sign. I think there's just a lack of passion, a lack of excitement, people just settling for jobs, settling for partners, settling for friends, settling for anything instead of saying I can have more.
Miss Blake, why do so many people struggle to live authentically despite wanting to?
I would say it's their beliefs. Like our beliefs keep us stuck. Before I did a lot of work on myself, I didn't have healthy friendships and I didn't have healthy relationships. I drank too much. I was a bartender. I didn't show up for my son the way I wanted to. And I kept saying things were going to be different, and they weren't. And when you have these beliefs, it's really hard to break patterns. It takes a lot of willpower, it takes a lot of talking yourself into things and talking yourself out of things. And when you get rid of the belief that's causing the issue, typically it's multiple beliefs, but those issues just fade. I stopped getting so defensive. I stopped drinking. I got out of the restaurant industry after 3 decades. I was able to really start showing up for my child. I had more patience for him. I had more empathy for him. I wasn't as distracted. My whole friendship circle changed. When I got sober and I left the restaurant industry, I had to really leave a lot of people behind and create space for new relationships to show up. And as I got rid of beliefs like people don't like me, or the way that I know people like me is that they, do this, that, I was able to form authentic friendships that weren't coming from a place of neediness. And I was able to be alone a lot more and really enjoy that. So as you start to work on yourself, all these things change. I was able to find a career that I'm passionate about, that I love so much, and do that instead of bartending. Now I get to make my own schedule. I get to never miss anything that my son does. I get to go to all his school things and all his baseball games and drive him where he needs to go. I get to make my own hours. I get to spend so much time in the ocean doing the things I love, wing foiling and towing and everything. So the more I work on myself, the more my life turns out in a way that works for me.
Mr. Blake, how can someone begin to distinguish between their true self and conditioned belief or expectations?
It's a good question because it's hard to imagine not being anxious if you're anxious. And if you have that constant stream of negative self talk, it's hard to imagine what life looks like without that. And if you procrastinate things all the time, it can be hard to imagine just sitting down at your desk and doing that thing that you really want to do or that you don't want to do but needs to get done. So I don't know. I think that if people just aren't feeling like they're living the life they want to live, if there's things they want to change, they're not happy, again, that settling.
So let's talk about the overcoming barriers. What are the biggest fears that prevent people from living authentically?
I think people just are stuck in their patterns and they don't know how to break them. I've had a lot of clients that have come to me and say, I've tried everything. I've tried this, I've tried that, and this helps, but I'm still doing this thing. Or I'm not doing this thing, but it's exhausting. And we try and talk ourselves into things, right? Oh, tomorrow, I'll start that diet tomorrow, or I'll stop drinking tomorrow. Or right, I'm gonna start going to the gym next week, or whatever that is. Tomorrow I'm gonna get on that dating app. I have no idea. Whatever it is that people want to do that they're not able to do because they have these limitations.
they
And
s- and they will say tomorrow never ends. So-
right.
and procrastinating.
And so what this work does is it really is able to help people break those cycles. If you have the belief, I'm not good enough, nothing I do is good enough, mistakes and failures are bad, if I make a mistake, I'll be rejected, things like this, how likely are you to just sit down and do your project? It's hard, right?
Yes.
But if you get rid of those beliefs, there's nothing stopping you now. It's easier to sit down and write that book. It's easier to start that course. A lot of people have a fear of rejection or a fear of failure. And so they never want to put things out there because they feel like if they fail or they're rejected, it means something about them. So getting rid of those beliefs and giving people the freedom to not live out of that fear anymore and to be okay with failing, to be okay with being rejected, to know we have no idea what's going to happen, but it doesn't mean anything about you.
Miss Blake, what would be your advice, or what's your advice for someone who feels trapped by their current life circumstances?
Find a modality that works for you. Don't keep doing the same thing. Didn't work yesterday. It's probably not going to work tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. And what daily practices help people stay connected to their authentic selves?
I think if you get rid of the beliefs in the way, you don't have to do anything. So a lot of the time we try to talk ourselves out of our beliefs, right? Oh, I know I'm lovable because, I know my partner loves me. I know my kid loves me, right? But it's like this constant thing, right? You're spending so much energy convincing yourself, right? But when you get rid of that belief, there's no more convincing like that. You don't have to spend that energy like that conversation stops and you can put energy on other things, right? If you think that you're pretty, you don't have to wake up in the morning and say affirmations. You don't put sticky notes on your refrigerator and your mirror saying you're beautiful. It's redundant. Get rid
Yes.
of a belief. You don't have to walk around saying, "Oh, I know I'm good enough," or "I know I'm lovable," or "I know I'm okay." Or you don't have to do it. Like, "I know I'm worthy. I know I'm deserving because of X, Y, and Z." Those beliefs are gone. So you don't have to do anything to be worthy, to be deserving, to be good enough. So those daily practices, it's like, what works for you? Do you want to get up and stretch and meditate in the morning? Do you want to go for a run? Do you want to just get up and start your day? Do you want to spend quality time with your kid or your partner? Like, there's no right answer. But when you get rid of the beliefs that are keeping you stuck, you're not stuck, and you don't have to do anything to live an authentic life except live.
Yes. So, what should someone do when their authenticity challenges their closest relationships?
Look at why. Why is this person in your life? What are they there to teach you? And is it more important to have the relationship look a certain way or to be yourself? And ideally, you want to surround yourself with people that are going to support you in who and how you want to be.
Definitely. And Miss Blake, as a coach, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
So, what I do isn't coaching, it's not therapy, it's really a curative process. And my goal is to help as many people as I can, because having done this work myself and seeing how it changed my life and starting to work with clients and see how their lives have changed so significantly. And when my clients finish what they came to work on and they leave, they stay in touch. They send me emails. I'm doing this. I got a new job. I left this person. I'm this one client who had such severe anxiety, and she was like, I'm able to go to parties and go to these things that I could never go to and make friends and talk to people and have a boyfriend. And um, I had one client who was an alcoholic and he couldn't keep a job and he couldn't hold a relationship. And he reached out and he was like, nothing stresses me out anymore. Like, even when things happen, I don't react the same way. I'm just like, oh, okay, here's this challenge. What do I do? How do I overcome it? And he stopped drinking and he was able to keep a job. And, like, people that have money issues, people that have fears, people that spend their life pleasing people are able to stand up for themselves and do what they want. And And I love that. Like, it's so exciting to me to ask people, what do you want your life to look like? And what is standing in the way? And when they leave, they're on the path to living that life. So, my goal is to help as many people as I can break free from what's keeping them stuck so that they can live an authentic life. And that is, my passion. And I offer a free discovery call to anyone that's interested. Ask any questions, tell me what's going on. If you have doubts, fears, confusion, anything, it's just a time for us to interact, see if you like what I have to offer, if there's a connection. And if there is, I offer a sliding scale for people that can't afford it, because I want this work to change the world, to change how we interact, to change our communities, our relationships, our parenting, everything.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Blake. Looking forward for more success. And can you please recommend a books or book that influence your journey?
I'm a book junkie, and I read mostly novels. Don't really do TV. I do books instead. But The Untethered Soul is an amazing book if you want to start this journey of exploring what's possible.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. And Miss Blake, how might society change if more people live authentically?
I think there'd just be a lot more love and light, less fear, less anger, If people are happy living their passions and values, they're going to spread that to the world. They're going to inspire other people to do the same thing. They're not going to be trudging home from work angry because they hate their job and they hate their commute, and then they're going to spread that anger. If you're able to follow a path where you love what you do and you love who you interact with, you love where you live, you love yourself, you're going to spread that instead.
Ms. Blake, how does social media impact our ability to live authentically?
I think social media perpetuates this idea that life should look a certain way, that we should look a certain way. And being a woman, when I go on social media, the ads that are targeted to me is so often change your body, change your skin, change your clothes, makeup, this, that, and the other thing. And when you get such an influx of that, you feel like, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm less than. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I don't look the way I'm supposed to look. And then depending on what kind of ads you're targeted, oh, I don't drive this kind of car, or I don't live in this kind of house, or my life doesn't look like this thing. I must not be doing it right. There must be something wrong with me.
Mr. Blake, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101, love letters in third season, and Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its fourth season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Blake, what's one small step listeners can take today toward more authentic living?
Ask yourself, what is it that you want your life to look like? And what's in the way of you living it?
Yes, say goodbye to limitations today. Miss Blake Lefkoe, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Thank
So
you so
can
much for having me.
yes, so can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or any projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, from my website, www.blakelefkoe.com, there is a link to schedule a free call with me. And if that feels too much, just shoot me an email, blakelefkoe@gmail.com, and let's connect. See how I can help you break free and live a more authentic life.
Definitely say goodbye to limitation and live authentically. Miss Blake, thank you so much again. And yes, people, I support Miss Blake Lefkoe because if you support her for sure, more and more and more people will live authentically. So, Miss Blake, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.